Welcome into Willow and Friends. Bryant and Darian filling in this morning. Darian back at the studio. I'm out here at TPC Southwind for Pro-Am Day out here for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. First round will get started tomorrow, but obviously still a lot of excitement out here with a lot of the golfers already out there, some of them, a lot of them about to get out there for the Pro-Am. I know Penny Hardaway is out here on the course. I saw some videos. I've not seen him out here, but I have seen videos of him. I know he is out here playing the course. I know Parthu Pajai joined the guys just a couple minutes ago on Sports56 mornings, and I know Parth was out here following him bright and early this morning. So a lot of really fun golfers that are already out there. We already talked about it. Top 70 out here this weekend for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But if you're looking to come out here, you can still come out here and see some really good golfers out here for the Pro-Am. I've got the schedule in front of me. Let me take a look. Let's see. So if you can get out here, 11 o'clock, you can see Kurt Kitayama. You can see Jordan Spieth if you get out here in the next couple of minutes. He tees off 10:44. Obviously, you have plenty of time to see him if you get out here, but he has yet to tee off. My guy Aaron Rye is just about to tee off. I'll probably, when I leave here, go try to catch up with him somewhere and watch him. Akshay Bhatia will tee off at 11:26. Some other guys that will be out there later this afternoon. Sepp Straka at 12:10. Tommy Fleetwood, saw him doing some media earlier this morning. Xander Schauffele will be later this afternoon, about 2:44. Ludwig Aubert, he'll be out there at 12:21. Daniel Berger, 12:43. Brian Harmon, 12:32. So plenty of really good golfers to come out here and see the rest of the day. A lot of golfers already out there on the course. Should be a lot of fun today with the Pro-Am. But I do want to thank all of our sponsors making this week possible here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Our title sponsor, Landers Ford in Collierville. We'll give you scoreboard updates, leaderboard updates all day tomorrow, all day Friday, and that is brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. And then all of our other great sponsors, Marshall Steakhouse, First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Ronnie Grazzani's, Lads, Napa Cafe, Memphis Mold Inspector, Memphis Men's Clinic, and Jim's Place Grill. Darian, how are you this morning? How are things over there in the studio?
It is a fun time here. I'm wondering, you guys are celebrities. You, Greg Gaston, Eli, why aren't you guys participating this morning?
Let's calm down with that word.
Let's calm down. I don't know.
I don't know.
Everything's well here.
People were coming over and saying hello to Greg and Eli this morning, which was cool to see. Make sure if you're out here today or tomorrow or Friday, stop by. We're right here in the hub on 18. So come by, and they've got some. I think they're doing giveaways down the down kind of towards the right of me. I know they've got a bar set up down there as well. So come in. It's nice. I know it's going to be a little hot this week and this weekend. So stop in and say hello and cool down a little bit, get you a drink, get some of these giveaways, and it will be a ton of fun. So last night, Darian, it was a busy night for me. I had a basketball game, last regular season basketball game for me. Didn't go well. Don't ask about it, Darian. We're just going to move past that. That's just setting up the story. So I'm worn out. I'm tired. Ready to go to bed. I go and get some dinner. And when I show up, when I sit down, like right when I sit down for dinner last night, I get a notification on my phone. And you know what it says? What
did it say?
It has a headline on it, Darian. It says, Jerry Jones, quote, absolutely not confident, end of quote, that Parsons will play in the season opener. Darren, what am I supposed to think about this? I mean, I was told over the weekend, I did all the freak out on Friday. I freaked out Friday afternoon. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to calm down because this is just part of the contract negotiations is at this in this era of the NFL, you just request a trade. It's what you do. And so I said, I'm going to calm down, but, because everyone was telling me this, but if he doesn't play the first game of the season, then it's time to be worried. Then over the weekend, I think it was Saturday, Jerry Jones says, don't lose sleep over it. It's not a big deal. It's going to be fine. So I didn't lose sleep over it. I slept like a baby over the weekend, Darren. But now I'm seeing the headline that says Jerry Jones is absolutely not confident Micah Parsons will play in week one. And again, this isn't week one. We talked on Sports Time last week we talked a lot of Saints and kind of the struggles that they might have this season. It's not like they're playing the Saints in week 1. They're playing the Eagles in week 1. And I'm sorry, but if you don't have Micah Parsons out there, I don't know how good I feel about your chances against the defending Super Bowl champs. So, Darian, how should I be feeling on August 6th about Jerry Jones not being confident Micah Parsons plays in week 1 against the Eagles?
Well, the first thing is you should be definitely worried because on Madden 26, Lane Johnson is a 99. So you're going to need Mr. Parsons to kind of get through that offensive line. But just like I told you, breathe. Everything is fluid. I think Jerry Jones plays the game where he wants Parsons to be the highest paid player on the defensive side of the ball. So you are right in the sense that if he's not out there on game 1, not of the preseason but regular season, you should fret. But I also think that means that somewhere down the line the Jones is reneged on something because, again, if you remember Dak, he got signed the day of on that Sunday morning. It wasn't that Saturday. Yeah. You went to sleep restless that Saturday. But when you woke up that Sunday morning, he was a paid man. So.
Well, I'm not a huge Dak Prescott fan, so I think I slept a little better than I'd sleep without Micah Parsons having a deal. But I say all of that, and then if you actually read the story, the headline says one thing, and then you read the story, and the actual quote says that said he wasn't confident and said a big part of the decision is his decision. So he really wasn't saying, like, I don't think we'll have a deal done. He's really saying like,
I'm
I don't know
if on my time. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have it done, and who knows if he'll be ready to play week 1. So Jerry Jones is a very strange guy. Now, I did see a report last night. Ed Werder reported that nobody from the Dallas Cowboys front office has contacted Micah Parsons' agent, and Jerry Jones, has not spoken to Micah Parsons since he requested his trade on Friday. Now, I do realize that was reported yesterday on Tuesday. It's Wednesday. It's only been a handful of days. I'm sure, it's the weekend. You don't want to worry about that stuff over the weekend. So I understand that it hasn't been a lot of time. But, again, like you said, like Jerry Jones, this Dallas Cowboys front office, they move at their own pace. But let's start moving. That's all I can say.
It's not great for team camaraderie. But I think, in all honesty, if he's not signed or is not playing on that Thursday, not Sunday, that Thursday against the Eagles, then you should be worried, sir. But other than that, let him play his rich man game.
Yeah, first game of the season. I mean, it's Thursday Night Football. It gets us kicked off against the Eagles, so that will be sooner than we expect it to be. So last night, speaking of the NFL, we had the first episode of Hard Knocks this year following the Buffalo Bills. Did you watch Hard Knocks last night?
No, I got into bed because I knew I had an early start today.
Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I debated saving it for today, or at least just for another day. But I watched it last night. It was fun. It was a little different because, I think a staple of Hard Knocks is usually like they're following a team of kind of like, what is this season going to be? And we've got some, young rookies that could be big time players for this team, and whatever it might be. Last year it was the Chicago Bears, and it was the story of, what will this team be? Can this team be a playoff team? You've got Caleb Williams on your team. What's he going to do? And there was, I think the storylines kind of wrote themselves for last year's season. This year's a little bit different. I think we know what the Buffalo Bills are going to be. They're going to be a really good team, and they're going to be fighting for a spot to play in the Super Bowl. And so, that's kind of a storyline in itself of, hey, this has been a really good team, but they haven't been able to push through and get to the Super Bowl. But it was fun last night. I really enjoyed it. I think they've got some fun guys on that roster, some fun guys to follow. And, watching it, obviously Josh Allen is a big part of the season. They've got a couple other guys, Tre'Davious White, who's a guy, more of a veteran that started his career in Buffalo, then, went out, spent some time with a couple other teams, and then now is back in Buffalo as a defensive back. It's kind of fun. They were talking to him last night and kind of his story. He feels like a fun guy to follow throughout the season. And then kind of the craziest thing, Darren, I always underestimate HBO. They're great at what they do, and the Hard Knocks team is phenomenal every year. Hard Knocks gets me so amped up for the football season. I'm already amped up, and then I watch Hard Knocks, and I'm like, all right, I need football tomorrow. And so they start the episode. I don't want to give too much. I mean, I don't know how much spoilers you can have with Hard Knocks. It happened. Like, just go and if you pay attention at all to Buffalo Bills reports out of camp, like, you're going to know what happens in each episode. But they start the episode, and like maybe 15 minutes into the episode, you start seeing highlights of Maxwell Harrison, the cornerback that they drafted. And I'm watching it, and it was late, Darren. I'm not going to lie to you. It was like, it was around midnight. It was late, so I was not completely awake and focused. I was like, I'm pretty sure Maxwell Harrison's injured. Like, I'm pretty sure he got injured in camp. Why are we showing highlights of him? Why are we making him a focal point? And they built it up. They're showing highlights. Then they cut away, and there's like another 15 minutes where they're not talking about him at all. And then they come back to him, and they're at practice. And Thurman Thomas, the Buffalo Bills legend, is at practice, and he's talking about. He's like, man, I'm really excited about this cornerback that they drafted, Maxwell Harrison. He's like talking to someone else. He's like, man, I've heard great things about this guy. I'm watching him at practice. Man, this guy's going to be a difference maker this season. As a rookie, this guy's going to be a difference maker. Next shot is him on the ground injured. And I was like, oh, man, HBO knows what they're doing. They know how to make a show. So I thought it was really good. Something I learned last night, maybe this is common knowledge. Maybe I'll be completely honest, Darian, I've never been sitting around and really cared, like, where are NFL teams having camp. I know that used to be like a big thing where like every team used to go somewhere and have camp somewhere. Now a lot of teams most famous is your
Cowboys in Oxnard.
That's right. We're going to Oxnard. Yeah, so like, I know where the Cowboys are going. Some teams, nowadays they just kind of stay where they're at and just, hey, we're going to have camp. But I learned this last night. There are only 5 teams in the National Football League that still go and use colleges for camp. And the Buffalo Bills are one of them. That's why they were talking about it last night. The Bills go to Rochester for camp, and they go to St. John Fisher University. Tell me everything you got on St. John Fisher University.
They are a subsidiary of St. John's Red Storm. I don't know. No, that's not true. I don't know. Never heard of them.
I don't think that's true.
Never heard of them. Absolutely not.
I don't know if that's a true statement. Let's see. I'm guessing I'm assuming they have a football team if they have a football field, and the Bills are practicing there. Let's see. Let me just tell you something about St. John Fisher. They're Division III. All right, that's all I got on them. They're Division III.
Are they a championship Division III program? Any championships ever?
Darren, you're asking questions that I don't think I am capable of answering.
Let me see if I can help with that. St. John's Fisher University? Is that it?
St. John. No S on St. John's. It's just St. John Fisher. So I don't know if there's I don't know. I don't want to get into why they might be named St. John Fisher. But, they practice at St. John Fisher. The other teams that use college campuses for camps, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Saints, and the Steelers are the other 4 teams. Only 5 teams in the NFL use college campuses for camp. And, it's kind of cool. These guys are just staying in dorms and stuff like that. These are multimillionaires. And, Josh, that was kind of one of the storylines last night. Like, Josh Allen just won MVP, and he's staying in a college dorm getting ready for the upcoming season. And Josh Allen, he's a fun guy. He's a fun character. And he was like, oh, man, I love staying in the dorms. It's awesome. And some of the other guys are like, I hate staying in the dorms. This is brutal. I do not like this at all. So I thought it was a fun episode last night. I'm excited to watch the rest of the season. Hard Knocks is, like I said, I think we're all already excited for the upcoming season and ready for just some football. But you add Hard Knocks and you're seeing all this stuff and you're watching it play out and you're watching this kind of dramatic filming of camp. And, man, you're ready to run through a wall to get to some football. And that's kind of how I was.
I was going to say, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I was waiting for you. Absolutely. So St. John, like you said, without an S, St. John Fisher University does not have any national championships.
Wow.
They compete, like you said, in D3. And while they have won numerous conference championships in other sports such as men's and women's basketball, lacrosse, and track and field, they do not have any hardware for football.
It's too bad. Well, maybe this is the year.
And
maybe
no
this is the
NFL
year.
alumni either. I checked that out too. Tried to see if they had any NFL alumni. But before you get off the Bills, serious deal. DeMar Hamlin. Any sightings of him? Any was he there?
Yeah, no, he was there. He wasn't. So Hard Knocks is the way they do it. And it's kind of they have the same template every year. It's you can if you can guarantee 3 things in Hard Knocks, you're going to get the star player on the team, you're going to get the vet, and you're going to get the young pup, right? Those are the 3
cut-worthy players.
Guarantees, yes. Those are the guarantees of Hard Knocks. Is you're going to get the star player, you're going to get a vet or 2, at least 1 vet, and you're going to get at least 1 player. But the problem is, Darian, is you might not – I shouldn't say it's the problem. The thing is you might not meet all those guys in – the first episode. We got a whole season we got to do. We got the whole preseason. We got however many episodes they do for Hard Knocks that we got to fill with content. So, last year, was it last year or was it 2 years ago? There was a season where the team that was Hard Knocks, they played in the Hall of Fame game. And so the Hall of Fame game was last Thursday. So when the first episode came out on Tuesday night, the Hall of Fame game had already started, so they already had a preseason game under their belt. And so we're talking about, oh man, look at this guy that played well in the first preseason game. He's a 3rd round pick, and he's fighting to make a roster spot. And so they introduce him in episode 1. I expect we'll probably see those really cut-worthy, late draft guys probably in next week's episode after they've got a preseason game under their belt. But yes, to your DeMar Hamlin question, he was in the episode, but he wasn't
featured. Basically.
He wasn't a big-time featured player. They had a second with him where he was in the dorm. He was kind of unpacking stuff, and he was he's talking about. They must have asked him what are the essentials you bring to camp, and he started talking about how he's really big into devotionals, and so he had a couple devotionals with him, and he was like, "This one I've had since college," and whatever. And then that was really kind of all we saw of DeMar Hamlin in episode 1, but it felt like it was kind of setting up for him to be a featured player in the season, but hey, we got a lot of episodes left, or a handful of episodes left.
I mean, I just was interested because he died on the field basically.
And that's the thing is if you're doing the Bills and DeMar Hamlin's on the team, he has got to be a featured part because we've seen interviews with him, we've kind of done the whole thing, but the way Hard Knocks is, that is a dramatic, very scary story that hey, this happened to you. You're still playing in the NFL, and you're going to be a factor for the Bills this year. We gotta feature that. And so I will be shocked if he is not a featured person in this season. It's just we haven't gotten to his story just quite yet. Right.
It's
right.
the TV magic, producing, directing. That's
all. Yeah, you know how it is. You know how it is. So I thought it was a lot of fun last night. We also got a little glimpse of their new stadium. They had a scene where the, I believe, owner, maybe it was, and again, it was very late when I was watching this episode, so forgive me if I don't get it exact who it was, but it was the owner and Josh Allen that kind of did a walkthrough of the stadium, the new stadium, and kind of looked at how progress was going and how where the stadium is right now, and kind of they were showing Josh Allen, all right, well, this is going to be here, this is going to be there, and we're going to do this and that. And they said the field, they've set it up to where on the field with all the stands and the way that the stadium is kind of set up, that there's going to be zero wind in the stadium, that they've somehow they kept saying we really pulled the science out and really science-ified this stadium, and so that wind's not going to be a factor for the Bills, because he was kind of asking that. So it was kind of cool getting a look at the new stadium. So I thought a really cool episode. But I'll say this: watching it last night, I was a little sad because this year we did not get the off-season Hard Knocks like we got last year. I don't know if you watched any of that last year, Darian, but it followed the New York Giants all throughout the offseason. We got to see kind of inside the office of the decision to not keep Saquon Barkley, draft process, free agents, all of that stuff we saw in an offseason of Hard Knocks. not doing it this year, and I think a big reason why they're not doing it this year is because no team in the NFL wants to give all of that access to their offseason, because it kind of backfired for the Giants last year. All throughout the season, their general manager, Joe Shane, is kind of talking about, man, Daniel Jones is our guy. We're committed to Daniel Jones. He's a good quarterback. We just have to build around him. Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback, and it showed. Now he's with the Indianapolis Colts. And then there was, he was talking about Saquon Barkley when they were, needing to decide on giving him an extension or not. And there was a scene, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, he's what he wants, what him and his agent are trying to get, he's not worth that much. Well, we saw Saquon Barkley was worth every penny that he was asking for. And then there was a scene where Joe Shane, the general manager, sitting in his office, and all of his kids are in there, and he goes around. I think he had 3 kids. He's asking all his kids, who should we take in the draft? And he's going around, and they're, giving answers. And his son, who's got to be 11 years old, goes, or maybe older, maybe 12 or 13. He goes, get Jaden Daniels. And Joe Shane's like, yeah, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be there when we make the pick. And his son, lays into him and is like, do whatever you got to do to go get Jaden Daniels. Trade up to get Jaden Daniels. Whatever you got to do. You don't get this opportunity. Doesn't come around every day to draft a guy like Jaden Daniels. And then they didn't trade up to trade. And who knows if they would have even been able to trade up to get Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels ends up going on to having a great rookie season, and all throughout the year. I saw that clip just on repeat of man, the Giants could have gotten Jaden Daniels. So I think a lot of teams saw that and said, you know what, we don't really want to be a part of the off-season Hard Knocks. But I really enjoyed it last year when we got it. So Hard Knocks was fun. Make sure go watch it, because I do think it's a good, fun to watch, gets you ready for the season in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, we've got preseason getting started officially this week. We had the Hall of Fame game last week, but we really have preseason games starting. 3 games tomorrow night, Thursday, another 3 games on Friday, a bunch of games on Saturday, and then a few games on Sunday. But it was reported and was announced yesterday that Shedeur Sanders will start for the Browns Friday night. I believe it's a 6:30 kickoff for the Browns, and that game will be on NFL Network. So we can watch Shedeur Sanders in his first game with the Browns. Now, there was also reporting that he was the 4th-string quarterback on the depth chart for the Browns, but they're going to give him the first game, the start in the first game of preseason, and we'll see how he does out there. Also, with the NFL, I know a lot of people in this area are going to want to be paying attention to Tigers that are in the NFL, Tigers that are fighting for roster spots. Jonah Dillon posted on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, last night talking about where all the former Tigers are playing for your preseason viewing. So you can go over there, check out the entire list. But quickly, I'll run through it. Seth Hennigan with the Jaguars, Kenneth Gainwell with the Steelers, Quindell Johnson with the Steelers, Calvin Austin with the Steelers. And Calvin Austin, note on him, they put out the first depth chart for the Steelers, and he was listed as a starter. So it looks
good news.
Calvin Austin,
yes.
Yeah, really good news. Sounds like he's having a really nice camp, and as of right now, listed as a starter. So it's cool to see. I mean, you got Aaron. I mean, literally the way that the depth chart is listed, it has quarterback and then wide receiver. So you see Aaron Rodgers, and then right under him, Calvin Austin. So really cool for Calvin
Austin.
Austin.
Observation about Calvin Ridley. Ridley. Calvin Austin. We had him on Action News 5, and he actually said that Aaron Rodgers invited him out to California. So he's been tossing the pigskin around with Aaron Rodgers for a little while.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, just an awesome story. A local guy, went to Harding, walked on at Memphis, just grinded his way to a scholarship. I remember when I was working, when I was at the University of Memphis, when I was working at the school station, we had Calvin Austin on when he was a walk-on. And it was kind of like, okay, man, you're a walk-on, you're doing this and that, you're fighting for a spot, and ultimately, ends up getting a scholarship. And, now has made the team, and looks like he will be, could be a starter for the Steelers. So we'll definitely be paying attention to him. Other Tigers that are in the NFL, you can watch this preseason. Antonio Gibson with the Patriots, Kobe Minor with the Patriots, J.J. Russell with the Cardinals, Arthur Mollett with the Texans, Anthony Miller with the Ravens, Chandler Martin with the Ravens, Patrick Taylor with the 49ers, your 49ers, Darian, Patrick Taylor, Bryce Huff with the 49ers, Jalen Allen with the 49ers, Davian Ross with the Titans, Tony Pollard with the Titans, Blake Watson with the Broncos, Jake Elliott with the Eagles, and Dylan Parham with the Raiders. So all of this tells me, if you're a Tiger fan, you got to watch the Steelers and the 49ers because they have the most former Tigers on their team. You're a 49ers guy. What have you been hearing about those three guys, Taylor, Huff, and Allen?
Well, because we lost so much on both sides of the ball, they actually have a really good chance of getting playing time. That's the first thing. When you're coming in and you're one of those cuttable type, cut-worthy type of players, the first thing you want to be given is an opportunity, and every last one of them has an opportunity to not only make the team but to get actual playing time.
Yeah, so it will be fun to watch those guys. A guy like Jalen Allen, a guy that played here, but then obviously looked for an opportunity in the NFL, didn't get that opportunity, and played for the Showboats. So spent a lot of time here in college and as a professional, and now he'll give it a try with the 49ers, see if he can make that.
But you know what, Brian?
Really excited.
What sells tickets?
What's that?
Quarterbacks. And I know he's not a Tiger.
That's absolutely right.
I know he's not a Tiger. Maybe you were about to get to it, but I did not want to let this pass. I'm really interested in Dart, in that quarterback room that's up in New York.
Yeah. Now, everything I've heard has been that he has had a great camp. He has been playing really well with the Giants. Now, it sounds like, and I think you kind of expect this with the Giants and with who Russell Wilson is that Russell Wilson's kind of going to be the default starter for the Giants week one.
As he should
They'll
be,
see how he does. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think Russell Wilson has done enough in his career that when he signs with a team, especially a team like the Giants, that he's going to be the starter, especially over a rookie. No, and that's no offense to Jackson Dart. I would say that about just about any rookie, unless you're, maybe Cam Ward and you're the number one pick. And even then, I would maybe say go out with Russell Wilson and let him start the season, kind of let the young guy learn, and then maybe turn it over to them. So, you're exactly right. I mean, you look all over the place. It's going to be fun guys to watch in the preseason. I know there's a lot of Ole Miss players. You mentioned Jackson Dart, a lot of other Ole Miss guys that are going to be on preseason rosters, a lot of Tennessee guys on preseason rosters, a lot of Arkansas guys on preseason rosters. So, if you're an SEC fan, if you're a Memphis fan, that's kind of one of the great things about preseason. I always talk about it with Summer League is it's, if you're a college basketball fan, Summer League is a must-watch because, it might not be guys that are going to make the NBA, but it's guys that you watched, high-level college basketball players that you watched throughout the year. So Summer League is always a must. Kind of same thing with the preseason in the NFL. It's guys trying to make rosters, but it's also guys that if you're a college football fan, you saw a lot of these guys on Saturdays for your favorite team. So I'm really excited.
So right about that, dude. I am.
I mean, it's awesome.
Because of Summer League, I am so afraid of San Antonio. That Dylan Harper.
Oh, man.
Dylan Harper, dude, I am. Oh, my God.
Well, Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. I mean, I know Carter Bryant didn't have the best Summer League, but, man, he looks like a player. And he's young. He was only a freshman at Arizona. Feels like he's really raw. And with San Antonio, the way that they're able to develop guys, no kidding. I didn't want this not to get into make this an NBA segment, but you're not joking. What OKC's doing, what San Antonio's doing, I mean, look out in the Western Conference because we already know OKC is a problem. San Antonio, I don't think, is very far behind. But we need to get to a break, and when we return, I got some more football news, a little college football with the Tigers. I mentioned Jonah Dillon. He had a story up today over on the Commercial Appeal about some transfers to keep an eye on for the Tigers. I want to get to that. I also want to talk some Major League Baseball. I should mention later in the show we will get to some more golf talk. We will get to our golf picks. Mickey Barker, Johnny Lyon, and Greg Hines, they will join us. We will talk some golf. We will make our weekly picks. That will come up a little bit later in the show at about 10:45. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some more football, a little bit of baseball. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Willow and Friends.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. 5 Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up to a 2025 Ford Expedition or Explorer. Demo priced below market value. That's right, demo price 2025 Fords below market value. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price 2025 Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship before they're sold. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
The best golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. It's also sponsored by Napa Cafe, Memphis Men's Clinic, Jason's Deli, East Memphis Ace Hardware, and Marshall's Steakhouse.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in to Wolo and Friends. Bryant and Darian filling in. Darian back at the house over at the home station, Sports 56. But I'm out here at TPC Southwind. We'll be here today. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here on Friday. Make sure you stop by and say hello. We're in here at the hub right here on 18. So, hey, maybe you're watching around. You're on 18. You just saw a group finish. You want to cool down. Very cool in here. They got the AC on. Got some music playing in here. They got giveaways all down the way. And they even got a bar at the very end. So you can get you a drink, come by, say hello. But we're definitely excited to be out here for the tournament. I want to thank our great sponsors once again for making this week happen. Landers Ford in Collierville, they're our title sponsor for this entire week. We'll be giving you leaderboard updates tomorrow and Friday. Those leaderboard updates brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, and then all of our other great sponsors: Marshall's Steakhouse, First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Ronnie Grazzani's, Lads, Napa Cafe, Memphis Mold Inspector, Memphis Men's Clinic, and Jim's Place Grill. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show all week long. I mentioned it earlier. I want to just remind everybody that we got the Pro-Am going on today. A lot of pros getting out there, having some fun, and it's a good opportunity to come out here and see them. And kind of I'll be honest, Darian, you're out here certainly Saturday and Sunday, but you're out here Thursday and Friday. These guys are locked in. This is the playoffs, big money events. They're locked in. They're laser focused. And but today, on a Wednesday, they're just out here getting a feel for the course. And so, a kind of a more relaxed atmosphere out here with the golfers. So really fun to come out here. A couple guys that are out there already, a lot of guys already out there, but some guys that just teed off for the Pro-Am. You've got Minwoo Lee, you've got Aaron Rye, Tony Finau, Mackenzie Hughes, all those guys just getting started. A little bit later, you got guys like Akshay Bhatia, Tom Hoagie. You've got guys like Jordan Spieth, who will get started here in a couple minutes, Kurt Kitayama, JT Poston, Sepp Straka, Tommy Fleetwood, Brian Harmon, Daniel Berger, Brian Campbell, Michael Kim, Xander Schauffele, some really good golfers out here, Ben Griffin, Ludwig Aubert, So if you want to come out here, Jake Knapp, Danny McCarthy, if you want to come out here and have a more relaxed experience with these golfers, really fun out here today, make sure you get out here. It is definitely a lot of fun, and then we'll get the tournament started tomorrow with round 1. But I mentioned I wanted to talk a little more college football, especially with the Tigers. Our friend Jonah Dillon had a story out this morning titled 5 Transfers to Keep an Eye On Who Could Make an Immediate Impact for Memphis this season. So 5 guys. I want to run through them real quick. First player listed, take a guess. Just take a wild guess, Darian, who the first player, a transfer that will have the most impact for Memphis this season. Who is the first player listed?
Your quarterback.
Your quarterback. Brendan Lewis is the first quarterback or first player listed.
I thought so. That was easy.
This story. It's easy. I mean, he's the quarterback. He's going to have the ball in his hands every play. The team goes with how the quarterback plays. So no shocker. Brendan Lewis, the first name on here. We've talked a lot about Brendan Lewis. Has had a good career, had a good season last year with Nevada, now comes over here. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but last week on Friday, I believe, we had in the afternoon, we had Max Chadwick, who covers college football. He's the college football reporter over at Pro Football Focus. He was on the show and talked a lot of college football and asked him about this Memphis team. And he told me, he said, obviously, it's going to be a battle for any team to be that Group of 5 representative to make the college football playoff, because I think right now you've got teams like Boise State, you've got teams like Tulane. He said, I was going through. He said, I think Brendan Lewis could be the best Group of 5 quarterback in the country this year. And so, hey, if you're Memphis and you've got the best Group of 5 quarterback in the country, then there's a good opportunity you could be playing in the college football playoff. So obviously the quarterback Brendan Lewis is going to be the first player listed there. The next person listed, safety Kamari Wilson, which some people might remember that name. He was a 4-star recruit out of IMG. He started his career at Florida, then transferred to Arizona State. Didn't get a ton of playing time last season at Arizona State, so entered the transfer portal again and is now at Memphis. Jonah Dillon wrote in his story, quote, Wilson might be the most talented player on the Memphis roster and is a projected starter at safety. So really excited to see what Kamari Wilson can do for this Tiger team. Next player listed, offensive lineman Travis Burke. This is a guy that started his career at the FCS level at Gardner-Webb, but has spent the last 2 years at FIU as a starter. So comes in. We talk a lot, there's question marks obviously with new quarterbacks. There's question marks at the wide receiver position. There's some question marks on the defense with some of these positions. But everybody you talk to, everybody that covers this team, everybody that's been at practice, that has seen this team, they all say the same thing. Said 2 positions that you can feel very confident about. The running back room with all those guys that they brought back from last season and getting Sutton Smith healthy after he missed pretty much the entire season last year. The running back, you can almost guarantee that they're going to be good this year. And then the offensive line. Everyone raves about this offensive line, bringing a guy like Travis Burke that has been a 2-year starter at the FBS level, and before that a starter at the FCS level. I think he is a guy that can make a big impact. Next guy is a guy that we've talked about a lot, wide receiver C.J. Smith. We talked about him. He was on the Freaks list over at The Athletic, was ranked 60th in the Freaks list. We talked about the reasons why he was on the Freaks list, a mixture of elite speed and strength. So I'm excited. This feels like a guy that, another guy, highly recruited out of high school, started his career at Georgia. Obviously didn't see the field at Georgia, so transferred to Purdue, battled some injuries, so very limited at Purdue, enters the transfer portal again, lands at Memphis. But this is a guy that I think has real upside, not just at Memphis, but, to make a professional career. When you have that speed, when you have that strength, if he can produce on the field, I think he could be a big factor for the Tigers, and we could be talking about some NFL buzz with him. The last player mentioned in this story, and I'll be completely honest, Darian, it's a guy that I kind of forgot about, is linebacker Sam Brumfield. This is a guy whose college career was supposed to be over. He was done with eligibility, but if you remember the Diego Pavia ruling that granted all JUCO players an additional year of Division I football, just Division I players, all sports, Sam Brumfield was a player that started his career at Northwest Mississippi Community College, so he was able to benefit from this ruling with the Diego Pavia case. And so now he will get an additional year of eligibility. This guy that played at Virginia Tech last year and had a pretty good year for Virginia Tech. You look back, was at Middle Tennessee State before he went to Virginia Tech. In 2023 with Middle Tennessee State, this is a guy that had 82 tackles for MTSU. And actually, Darian, I keep calling him MTSU in Middle Tennessee State. I think they're just Middle Tennessee now. I think they dropped the state.
Did they drop it?
I think they're just.
I can check.
I think they. Please look that up for me, because I think during the basketball season, I was seeing they had a new logo and they were only called Middle Tennessee. So I think they've dropped the state and they're just Middle Tennessee now. So in 2023 for Middle Tennessee, he had 82 tackles. Last year for Virginia Tech, this is a guy that in the ACC had 60 tackles. So I think this is a guy that can come in. We talk about that linebacker core we mentioned earlier, Chandler Martin, now with the Ravens. You're going to have to replace some linebackers, and I think Sam Brumfield's a guy that can easily go in there and replace and be a massive factor for this defense this upcoming season. Do you have anything for me for
I got you. So I got a couple of takes with. So on the official website, it still is MTSU. So no worries there. But with the first, I got pulled away because the phone started ringing. But with the first three transfers, the third one, Mr. Burke, I like him because he was a field steal second team All CUSA player. But with all three of them. When we go with Burke, my quarterback, and then who'd you have second?
Second was Kamari Wilson.
Brendan Lewis and Kamari. All of those guys are older players. Every last one of them are at least 22 years old. So you got some experience and some age back there. I think that's always a plus, especially when you're dealing with transfers.
That's a really good point. We talk about the unknown with this team and so many new pieces, but with the transfer portal now, Ryan Sorfeld has shown that he can go out there and get guys that are older, that have FBS experience, have Division I experience, and can come in and be factors immediately. So I'm super excited. Only a couple of weeks for the season, and Jonah Dillon does a great job covering this team, and he's just pumping out stories about the upcoming season. So really excited for a couple of weeks when Memphis will start the season against Chattanooga. Well, we need.
I guess quickly I had to cut my mic on. Brendan Lewis will actually be 24 before the season is over with.
How about that? So, a wily vet, if you will. I don't know anymore. You're seeing guys that are like 26, 27, what was
Tyler Shook?
Sure,
25, 26.
25 or 26. DeAndre Williams, when he was with Memphis, I don't want to, because some people were messing up how old he was, and it made people very mad, but he was older. Nowadays in college, you're seeing a lot. And now with these international guys, I don't want to get on a tangent here because we need to get to a break, but some of these international guys that are coming over to play college basketball, you look at them, they're coming over, they're 22 years old, and the NCAA's telling them they got 3 years of eligibility. So, we're talking about they're going to be 25, 26 years old playing college basketball. So you're seeing some older guys in college nowadays, but having a quarterback that has all that experience and is going to be 24 before the season starts, I think is huge. Well, we need to get to a break. When we return, we're going to talk some more golf. We're going to make our picks. Mickey Barker, Johnny Lyons, and Greg Hines, they join us next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Willow and Friends.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in to Wolo and Friends. Bryant and Darian with you as we wrap up this Wednesday morning. We got to talk golf. We're out here at TPC Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I want to thank our sponsors really quick for making this week possible. Our title sponsor, Landers Ford in Collierville. We're going to be giving you leaderboard updates tomorrow and Friday. Those leaderboard updates brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. Then all of our other great sponsors, Marshall Steakhouse, First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Ronnie Grazzani's, Lads, Napa Cafe, Memphis Mold Inspector, Memphis Men's Clinic, and Jim's Place Grill. Thank you so much for being with us this week. Well, we got to talk some golf. We got to make some picks, and you know we've got the guys with us every single week to do just that. Mickey Barker, Johnny Lyon, and Greg Hines, they join us now. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I know we're going to get to these picks here in a minute, but I want to start off. We've got the top 70 here this week for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, but we know it's going to be the top 69, and that is because Rory McIlroy decided not to be here this week. I know there were people thinking that could happen after a report came out back in November of him saying he might miss Memphis, and now that is the case. What do y'all make of this field? Now that we've got the playoff event, getting the top 70 guys here, having elite golfers here, but then also the fact that Rory McIlroy is not here. Let's start with Mickey. Your thoughts on the field?
Yeah, I'd rather talk about who's there than who's not there. So not a big deal. Tournament's it's gonna be great whether Rory's there or not. It's no big deal him not being here to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. I mean, like you said, we're going to have a great tournament here. 69 of the best golfers in the world, so really excited about that. Johnny, your thoughts on this field and Rory not making it?
I know Mickey always sides with the PGA Tour, but Mickey and everyone has to realize that Rory just took a $10 million bonus from FedEx last week. And, he needs to set his priorities straight. I think he needs a new agent. He missed Jack Nicklaus's tournament, 50th Memorial, on his 85th birthday. Now he's skipping the FedEx. That's where his bread is buttered. And I really think he needs to get a new agent and set his priorities straight. But we do have a great field, and everyone's excited.
Absolutely. Going to be a lot of fun. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of between the two of them, right? I mean, I think the PGA Tour needs to fix the situation so that this doesn't happen in the future. They need to, have a penalty for not doing it, and maybe only the top 60 or top 50 players move on after this event. So regardless of your point structure, so I think it's going to be interesting to see where they go. I think the sport realizes it's an issue, but. In Rory's defense, he's just playing the system the way he can and get an extra week of rest. Why not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're right. I mean, we have all these signature events during the year. I think especially with the playoffs, you should have some sort of penalty or something to get these guys here at these three events for the playoffs. We know that TPC Southwind has undergone some renovations. It's going to look a little newer out here this year. This will be the first time we've seen play on the new and improved TPC Southwind. Y'all's thoughts on the renovations and how it will play this week for these professionals? Let's go back up and start with Mickey.
I think it'll be good. I have not seen it personally. I haven't been out there to see it since it's grown in. Did talk to Lauren Roberts, and he said he thought it was fantastic. Putting surfaces were great, just as smooth as they could be. He really felt like it was going to play better than it did before. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I think the greens will be more firm than what they're used to at Southwind, just because they're brand new. So that should be interesting. The ball strikers may have a real advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny?
Yeah, they got the Zoysia fairways everyone likes, and the new greens. I think $12 million worth of greens. They should be great, and the weather is not so bad. I mean, today it feels pretty great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see these guys on it. Greg, your thoughts?
Brian, I think it's going to be exciting. I think the thing, I rode around the course the other day with the general manager, and I think the interesting thing is going to be the rough this year. Not having had carts in it, not having had players in it, it is thick and it is healthy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I haven't been able to walk around yet this morning, so right when we're done here, I'm excited to go in and really get a look at it. But let's go ahead and let's get to picks. I believe Dave is starting off, so that means I get first pick today. And, at this point, I don't know how you could pick or how you could not pick Scotty Scheffler with a first pick. So I'm going to go with Scotty here with the first pick, and that takes us to Greg with the next pick.
Yeah, and I have to take Matthew Fitzpatrick. I mean, he's got 3 top 6 finishes. He's a good player here.
Yeah, I like that pick. Johnny?
I'm going to take Aaron Rai.
I love that pick. One of my favorite players on tour.
He's
love
hot.
Me some Aaron Rai. Yeah, he is. And Mickey, your pick?
Scotty's last missed cut was at Memphis. So if you want to trade, I'll go ahead and let you have Xander if you want to trade for Scotty.
I'll pass. Thank you for the offer, though.
I'll take Xander.
All right, Xander. All right, that brings it back up to me, and I will let's give Kurt Kitayama a stab. All right, that means Greg, you're up next.
I'm going to go with Victor Hovland.
Okay. Johnny?
Back to me?
Yeah, Johnny, you're up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take everybody's favorite, Ben Griffin.
Ben Griffin, all right. And Mickey?
I think he likes the golf course, so we'll take JT.
All right, JT. I saw him rolling through earlier this morning with the Pro-Am, and it seems like he really likes this course and this tournament. All right, back up to me. I will go, let's see, how about, let's go Robert McIntyre, old Bobby Mack for my final pick. That means, Greg, you're up.
Man, he just was so good last week. You got to take Cameron Young.
Yeah, that was fun to watch last week. Getting his his first win. It was a really good story, and the way he did it, really really ran away with it, and made Sunday look a little easy. Johnny?
I'm going to take Harris English.
Harris English. All right, and then finally back to Mickey.
Factors do play well. We'll go with Russell.
Say that one more time. You cut out there.
Russell Henley.
All right, Russell Henley. Awesome. All right, well, it feels like it's going to be a great tournament. I know we're all excited having the tour here in Memphis. Fellas, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you all again next Thursday or next Wednesday.
Sounds great.
Thanks, guys. That was Mickey Barker, Johnny Lyon, and Greg Hines. They join Dave every single week during the golf season. Talk a little golf and make some picks. Going to be fun. I always love Darian when, obviously Dave makes his picks, and I'll fill in for Dave when he's not here. And then in the afternoon, we make picks on sports time. And so it's one thing to make those picks and then watch it on television, right? Like, well, cool. It's fun. I'll watch golf, absolutely. But it's different when you make those picks and then you can go walk around and watch those guys play out here in person. You know, it's almost like a different element on it. You're living and dying with every shot, and so I'm definitely looking forward. I'll keep an eye on the guys I picked for Dave, but this afternoon when I make my picks, I'm definitely going to be focused on those guys the rest of the weekend and see what they can do. How about Darian? We get a pick from you. Who do you like this weekend for the FedEx St. Jude Championship?
He took Xander. I've always liked Xander, but if you recall last year, Xander was the reason.
He wanted to trade Xander. He took Xander, but he wanted to trade him.
Hideki's in the field, right? Matsuyama?
Hideki is in the field.
I'll take Hideki to go back-to-back.
Okay.
Nobody took Hideki, right?
Nobody took Hideki.
I see Harris. I see Fitzpatrick. Yeah, nobody took Hideki. So for the heck of it, I'll go Hideki back-to-back. I saw him actually when he won. Do you know where he ate dinner at that night?
When he won here?
Uh-huh.
I have no idea.
Roost Chris. Strange night. Me and my wife, we were just out eating, and I see this table of obviously foreigners. They're all dressed up, and I did not see the trophy. He didn't have the trophy in, but boy, were they were getting it in. I'll just tell you that.
Good for them. Good for them. And you're like, hey, I think that's.
Yeah, I was one of the few people that recognized. Like I said, obviously they stood out in the crowd. But I'm just like, do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? He just won, and he goes to Roost Chris to eat dinner, man. How about that?
I tell you what, since we've got a minute or two here before we need to get out, my favorite and least favorite story being out here at TPC Southwind, and I better not say this too loud because if anybody with the tour is around, they're not gonna want to hear this. But when I don't remember how old I was pretty young, and I was out here with my dad watching the event, and we're watching Phil Mickelson go through his round. Obviously, a lot of people following Phil. We're standing there. Well, some bad weather was rolling through, and so the alarms start going off. They start calling it, hey, everyone seek shelter. It's about to get bad out here. We need to get off the course. But outside, I mean, if you look out your window right now, if you're outside right now, if you're driving, it's a beautiful day today. It looked exactly like this when it happened. And so I'm looking around. I'm like, it doesn't look like it's about to rain or anything. Like, why are we stopping play? And Phil Mickelson, which at the time was a massive deal. He was my favorite golfer on tour. He's walking to, they brought a cart to pick him up and take him back to the clubhouse. The cart was right next to where I was standing. He was literally walking right at me, and I'm going, Phil, can you sign my hat? And Phil is like, yeah. He's motioning yes. He is walking towards me. And someone, a tour official or someone, like, jumps out of the car, and he's like, we got to get Phil to the clubhouse. Y'all have got to get out of here. It's about to get bad. And I was that close to getting an autograph I was probably like 11 or 12.
You should have broke out the government, man. At that point, you say, Philip. Hey, Philip, I need this.
I should start like crying or something. Like maybe if I start crying, maybe they would have felt bad and like just let him get a. So then we get in the car. We're on the way back to my house, and I don't live 15 minutes away from TPC Southwind. I fall asleep in the car. When I wake up, I mean the sky is like green. I mean, it was like we had tornadoes that night or something like that. I mean, it was insane. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe they did make the right decision to call it when they did. But it was a wild day, and it was my favorite and least favorite day, my best memory being out here at TPC Southwind. Well, we got to get out of here. We'll be back here tomorrow for round one. I do want to thank our great sponsors one more time before we get out of here. Landers Ford in Collierville, they're the title sponsor this week. We're going to give you leaderboard updates all week long. Those are brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, and then all of our other great sponsors. Marshall's Steakhouse, First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Ronnie Grisani's, Lads, Napa Cafe, Memphis Mold Inspector, Memphis Men's Clinic, and Jim's Place Grill. Make sure if you come out here, stop by the hub. It's jumping right now. A lot of people in here having fun. Stop by and say hello. But that's all the time we have. Thanks again to Darian for being with us. Thanks so much for tuning in, but don't go anywhere. Johnny Radio, he's up next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.